What's going on, guys? Ryan O'Toole back here again, giving you guys another collaboration. That's right, since Alien Covenant is coming out in very short weeks, I think it's a perfect time to review some of the older Alien movies leading up to Alien Covenant. I've decided I'm going to be reviewing the very first Alien movie, Aliens, and Prometheus leading up to it. And I had to collaborate with a good friend of mine here on YouTube, who I've just met recently through Masters of Movie Trivia on Sean Chandler Talks About's channel. That's right, his name's Anthony DeGioia of SilverScreen Analysis. Anthony, introduce yourself. Tell us about your channel.
What's going on, guys? My name's Anthony. Like Ryan said, I have a channel over on YouTube called SilverScreen Analysis. It's very similar to Ryan's, where movie reviews, current movies, throwback movie reviews. I like to do all kinds of top 10, top 5 lists. I like to do best and worst lists and just pretty much talk about all kinds of things movies. So if you like Ryan's content and you have fun with it, then you'll probably have some fun on my channel too. So come by and check it out. I'd like to talk movies with you guys.
Perfect. And so guys, as you know, we are reviewing the very first Alien movie, which came out in 1979, that was directed by Ridley Scott. As you know, this is going to be spoiler filled, so if you've not even seen Alien, what the hell's wrong with you? You know we're going to be talking spoilers in this review. So you've been warned. Without further ado, here's our review of Alien. So the cast includes Sigourney Weaver, Tom Skerritt, John Hurt, Ian Holm, Yaphet Kotto, Harry Dean Stanton, and Veronica Cartwright as the 7 astronauts on board the Nostromo, which is the ship that goes to this remote planet because of some type of signal. And on that planet, they discover one of their crew members, John Hurt, gets attacked by a Facehugger alien. And in that sequence, an alien bursts out of his chest to create the xenomorph, and now it's on the Nostromo, and it's going to take out the astronauts one by one, and they got to kill it. Now, I just rewatched Alien for the first time in a while this morning, and I am blown away by how much this movie looks on Blu-ray, and that it still holds up today. I mean, this movie is only 40 years old. I mean, it's crazy. Anthony, since you rewatched Alien also, what's your experiences with it?
I totally agree with you. It completely holds up. I mean, for being 1979, the details taken into the set design were absolutely fantastic. There's detail in every direction you look. They actually, the slow camera pans and the slow movement from Ridley Scott's direction really move the camera methodically throughout the ship, so you get a perfect layout of what this ship is like, and later that really comes in handy for just as these guys are running in all different types of directions, and all the special effects are fantastic. And despite all the technological advances, the practical effects in this one are still bar none.
I totally agree with you. Just everything about this movie from start to finish. I watched the director's cut of this movie, and it's just flawless filmmaking. Just watching it in 2017, it's sad to say that this movie, visual effects wise, is better than some of the big blockbusters we're getting today. And that's saying a lot. And that's because of Ridley Scott himself. So let's start with the performances of the movie. Let's start with Sigourney Weaver as Ripley. Let's just get this out of the way, Anthony. She's by far the best part of this movie. I mean, Sigourney Weaver kills it as Ripley. I mean, watching this entire movie, she's the only one on the ship with common sense. I mean, this creature gets on the ship, and there's one sequence in the movie where Dallas and the crew are going on this remote planet, and after John Hurt gets affected by it, they're trying to get back on the Nostromo, and she's like, I can't let you guys back in because of protocol. Like, she understands the rules, and she kills it. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Absolutely, I have to agree with you once again. Sigourney Weaver was absolutely awesome in this movie. She's like a hero in this movie, but at the same time, she's not like that prototypical hero that never shows any fear. I mean, she does have moments of fear. She does have her moments of being vulnerable where she's completely terrified and scared of what's happening, but she maintains her composure and she builds her strength throughout this film, and you really can get behind her because she's not an exaggerated character. She's very grounded, and you can resonate with her. You can kind of understand a lot of her thinking, and that's one of the things things that I think just made her one of just the most memorable characters in the 80s, in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And the other cast members, you got Tom Skerritt as Dallas, John Hurt as Kane, rest in peace to him, Ian Holm as Ash, Yaphet Kotto as Parker, Harry Dean Stanton as Brett, and Veronica Cartwright as Lambert. The 7 astronauts, they're all great in this movie. You could definitely tell the atmosphere on the Nostromo, how they work as a team, how it flows out. I love the sequences when they're all having dinner. You could definitely see everybody's personalities shine through this movie.
Yeah, have to agree with you. It was really great to just see those interactions, the interminglings. You get little doses of everybody's personalities, but it doesn't consume up a lot of the runtime. It's little short takes, and you really get to know these people. You get to kind of see a little bit of their motivations, and Tom Skerritt was fantastic. He's an old veteran actor. John Hurt as well. Harry Dean Stanton. They all, and Kotto. They all just felt perfectly tailored for this. I mean, the casting was excellent, and they have a great chemistry with one another. Where it was supposed to be tense and between certain characters, it really plays out, and all the dynamics work great.
Yes, I totally agree with you. Now let's move on to the creature itself, the xenomorph. Oh my god, this creature is so awesome. Just the design of it is so creepy and scary. I mean, the xenomorph itself, just looking at that creature, I would not want to be on that ship with that thing. I mean, just the special effects, and I love how they kind of went like a Jaws route. Like, you don't see the shark at all throughout the majority of the film, and the xenomorph has like 15 minutes of screen time.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it was extremely well done. Just like you said with the Jaws element of this movie, you get it little glimpses and peaks and shadows and movements, and it really builds up that anticipation. And when it finally makes its reveal, it does not disappoint. I mean, when I watched this movie as a kid, I love the science fiction aspect of this movie now, but when I watched this movie as a kid, this was pretty much a horror movie to me. And like throughout all that time period, I mean, I watched that movie probably more times than I should have for that age, but the xenomorph ranked up there with like the Freddy Krueger and the Michael Myers and the Jason as like a horror character that is memorable. And we've had so many movies that have had like an alien or a monster at the end, and despite all the advances and everything that can be done, it's like this still holds up after all the years, and it's just awesome, and it just never disappoints.
Yeah, I totally agree. The xenomorph, just no other alien creature today even looks as creepy as that thing. I just love that xenomorph creature. Now we got to talk about some of the other creatures you see in this movie. Let's talk about the chestburster scene. Oh my god, that scene is so epic. I mean, Anthony, I'm not sure if you even know, but the actors that were in that scene, they didn't even know that was going to happen. Like when you see the alien pop out of John Hurt's chest, it's so creepy. And in that scene alone, there's no music playing. That is great. Great filmmaking. Just that scene in general, I just loved.
Oh yeah, it's a classic moment without a doubt, and that's pretty cool to know. I mean, and it was actually well placed into the story as well. It came out of nowhere. I mean, you didn't expect anything like that to happen, and it was just extremely well done. And all the expressions of everybody's faces around as it's happening, and just the camera movement that perfectly captures each little character, and it shows their reactions to it. And it was a memorable moment, like you said.
Yeah, and the facehugger scene too. I totally noticed now. The facehugger gives birth to that thing, and so, I guess you could say kind of a nitpick is like, how does the alien grow into an adult that quickly? I mean, it's not really that much of a complaint. I mean, I saw the movie Life recently, and it's totally a ripoff of Alien.
Oh yeah.
Like, you do see the different stages of that alien, but here it's not really a gripe.
No, I mean, it's used in a couple quick moments to really just, get you on the edge of your seat, and there's some cringeworthy moments when that thing leaps out and wraps around that guy's head, and, it served its purpose, but, luckily it wasn't something that was hovered on, but, I mean, despite that, it's still, everybody knows about it, everybody knows the name of it, everybody remembers that scene from the various movies that it's happened in, and it served its purpose, but yeah, I could kind of see what you're saying about that. It doesn't exactly pan out, but it works just enough.
Yeah, I totally agree. Now, Next, we got to talk about the overall production design of this movie. Let's talk about the Nostromo in general, how the ship is laid out. It's one of my favorite production designs of all time. Just seeing this whole entire ship, the darkness of it, the creepiness of it, like you do feel like you're in this environment when you're watching this movie, and it's just so great. And Ridley Scott creating this whole environment, it's really creepy stuff. I'm not surprised that it won production design and visual effects. I mean, it's just so good. And the soundtrack, there's not a lot of songs. There's a lot of silence in this movie, and it's perfect. What are your thoughts on the production design overall?
Yeah, absolutely amazing. I mean, Ridley Scott's direction was fantastic. The camera just moving really slowly down these long corridors, just letting you kind of get the layout and just how claustrophobic it is. And it really plays out extremely well later once, you know, kind of everything hits the fan and the xenomorphs on the loose and people are starting to drop one by one. You can really relate to the characters as they're looking in all different directions, not even really knowing what they're looking for, but just not knowing which direction to look for it in either. And it's just with all the caging and just all the different corridors and pathways, it is a perfect setting for like that horror element to it, and it's just an awesome blend of science fiction to go with it. And like I said earlier, just looking in all different directions, just the detail and the weaponry and just the costume design and the set design was just absolutely amazing.
Yes. Now we bring it to Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott, it's a masterpiece what he did with this movie and creating this whole entire universe. It's just great. I gotta give props to Ridley Scott for creating this universe, because without him, we wouldn't even have Alien. I mean, yeah, he's had some missteps with Prometheus, but you can't really blame it on him. He still created the universe. He still does right with whatever the source material he has in front of him. And it's great.
Yeah, he did. He did a fantastic job. He didn't try to overdo it. He didn't try to, you know, it was obviously a huge budget film at the time. He didn't try to overload it with action and all this spectacle. He kept his focus. He kept it very methodical. It was very imposing, very foreboding. You can always sense that something's going to happen, and you never know when it's going to happen. And that's pretty much all because of his direction and how he frames up the shots, and it doesn't over edit things, and just everything is just very methodical, and it works great.
Yeah, I agree. Now, Anthony, let's just talk about a couple scenes that really stand out in the film. Now we got to talk about the huge twist in this movie that I did not see coming, honestly. We find out that Ash was an android the whole entire time. Just scoping the whole entire situation to get this creature back on Earth. Wow, what a twist. I did not see that coming. What are your thoughts on the twist?
Yeah, it's another classic moment. It worked perfectly for the film. It was very well timed, and like you said about Ash, that entire scene when he gets destroyed, that was absolutely fantastic special effects in that aspect as well. Just all that liquid and the tubes and everything coming out. Yeah, he was an awesome character, and it kind of took me, back when I saw it for the first time, it really caught me off guard, and yeah, it was an awesome twist.
Yeah, it kind of made you question, like, who out of the human characters is kind of a villainish type of character. I mean, you could kind of see Dallas being kind of an unlikable character, but once you find out Ash is the one who controlled the whole situation, like, okay, yeah. What a twist.
Yeah, it was a perfect amount of misdirection without feeling overdone.
Yeah, I agree. Anthony, are there any other scenes in the movie that stand out to you? Like, what did you...
I mean, I'd have to say something about that introduction. Just the slow, imposing introduction that you get. There's just all those memorable scenes of just the pan-ins from the Nostromo. I mean, even though they look slightly dated, the special effects, but they look dated in a very, like, just a nostalgic way that, kind of like some of the original Star Wars special effects look like. And I mean, and all those introductions and just, all the memorable scenes. I like all the memorable scenes that I have to say would easily be Sigourney Weaver's scenes as she kind of gets more secure in her just being a leader and taking charge. She had some really good, strong, tense, emotional moments, and I always like character acting, so those ones are easily, just besides the special effects, the ones that really stick out to me.
Yeah. Also, we got to talk about the ending. The ending's so good. Like, once you think Ripley got out of there safe, the xenomorphs there, like, oh shit. Yeah, you're not killing that thing that easily. Yeah, the ending of this movie I really liked. The final 20 minutes of this movie are so intense. Like, how is she going to get out of there safe? So good.
Yeah, absolutely. It always comes down to the good guy versus the bad guy. And in this case, you got the good girl versus the bad alien, and it was just extremely well shot. It was, I like that, all the lighting, everything was awesome. Just when you think you can sit back down in your seat, you got to raise back up again because it ain't quite over yet. And that's kind of what we always want to have after our movie. We want a little bit of surprise, and even if you watch it over again and you know it's coming, you still kind of sit back with it after the first lull, and then you get ramped up into it again, even though you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, very true. And negatives?
None really. I mean, it's not often that you can, it's not often that you can say there's zero flaws with a movie, but nah.
Maybe just like the littlest of nitpicks. Like, if you want to be the nitpicky kind of guy, but no movie's perfect. I do agree with that. I guess I would have liked to seen, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of hard to say if there's any nitpicks because I really think this is a perfect film for me. I try to think about it, and it's like, could some of the characters been a little bit more evolved and a little bit more in depth, or could you have shortened it a little bit and cut some of the editing out? And it's like, I'd really have to say no, because I think all those the silent imagery and all that stuff works perfect, and I think it comes into just a great package. I mean, he could have went the Star Wars route and tried to go with all this overboard stuff, and he kept it as a horror science fiction movie. And I mean, for a horror movie, it does everything that it needs to. It has some great jump scares that have some substance to them. And yeah, I mean, it's hard to really say what anything that, I mean, I just watched it a few days ago and nothing really stood out as anything I'd have to say, I don't know. Alright, so guys, in the end, you totally expect this. Just our final thoughts overall on the movie. This is such a classic, a masterpiece. Alien, it's a fantastic science fiction movie, a fantastic horror movie. Everything about it is just a near perfect movie. Ridley Scott's direction, the acting's fantastic, the special effects, the suspense, everything about this movie is flawless and perfect. I can't wait to watch Aliens. Oh, it's so good. Anthony, what are your final thoughts?
Yeah, like you said, it's an awesome piece of film work. It's excellent on so many levels. It turned Sigourney Weaver into a star, and she earned that role. It's got such a high rewatch value because you could just go back and appreciate the effort put into it. If you haven't seen it, you got to go out and do it this weekend or the next weekend. Whenever you got a couple days off of work, go fit it in. Even if you have seen it and you know you're going to go watch Alien Covenant, get out there, give it a shot. Yeah. Watch the first couple films and check out Prometheus and get ready for it.
Yeah, and just skip Alien 3 and yeah.
yeah.
Alright, overall, my final rating for Alien is, of course, a 5 out of 5 stars. Perfect film, fantastic. Anthony, what's your grade?
Yeah, have to agree with you, the same one.
Alright guys, that was our spoiler-filled discussion on Alien. Have you guys seen it yet? I'm sure you have. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the movie down below. And stay tuned for our next review on Aliens, which will be dropping. We're filming it tomorrow and uploading it whenever we can. Anthony, thank you for joining me on this Alien series of reviews. It's been a lot of fun. I can't wait to do the next 3 videos with you, man. And Anthony, real quickly, tell my subscribers where we can find you on social media.
Yeah, you can go ahead and find me at Your Cinema Guy on Twitter, SilverScreen Analysis on Facebook, and on Google Plus if anybody still uses that out there for actually social media. But yeah, go ahead and check me out. You can also find me on SilverScreenAnalysis.com with tons of written reviews, and I'm looking forward to talking movies with you guys. Ryan, thanks again for having me. It's going to be a great time going through these movies. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, this was a fun conversation.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you guys, as always, for watching this collab. And if you guys liked it, give it a thumbs up. And be sure to subscribe today for more content. All my social media links are in the description down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!